Hey, how are you guys doing? It's Dawnna St. Louis. Welcome, Facebook family. And today is all about target markets and competition. Target markets, target audience, ideal clients, target rich environments. We hear these talk. People share this with us all day, right? They're like, oh, you got to pick your target market. And they tell you all this stuff to do. But they don't really give you the details on what all that is and what happens when you're doing your little competitive analysis and you're trying to figure out, well, wait a minute, what should I do to differentiate myself from them? I mean, after all, if everybody's going around talking about leadership, then how do I separate myself as a leader? I am going to give you some detailed download information. You're going to save this video for later. Like when you sit down and you're like, it's time for me to do my market analysis. Really sit down and use this video because it should be helpful to you. This is something that we actually teach in detail at the High Profit Zone retreat. And we kind of have a very different spin on it. So hopefully you'll find this really helpful. So just in case you're wondering, who is a crazy lady going like this and with the curls and all that? My name is Dawnna St. Louis. I am CEO of Biz on Fire and president of highprofitzone.com, where we help you do what you do best, which is usually in your expertise, find premium clients who want to work with you so you can make a shit ton of money. And if you are offended by four-letter words like sell, money, which I know it's not a four-letter word to y'all, but sometimes. Anyway, then you probably don't want to watch because I don't watch my mouth. I watch my bank account. All right, so let's do this thing. So first thing, let's talk about target markets, right? So people always talk about target markets as if they are people. Target markets are not people. I know, I just broke every marketing person they ever went to class. They're like, no, it is people. No, target markets are not people. Target markets are actually places. Target markets are where you find your ideal client, right? So if you think about it, when a big movie comes out, sometimes they'll do what they call a pre-release or an early release of that movie, and they'll only let certain people come and watch that movie. Okay. Well, they determine what markets they're going to go to. Some of those markets are huge and some of them are small. But what they do is they choose their markets based on it being how many ideal clients they have. So in other words, when Aquaman came out, right? Aquaman came out and a lot of people don't know, they did this huge pre-release of Aquaman. Well, they did that pre-release in some of the bigger markets that were target rich environments. In other words, there were going to be a lot of ideal clients there. See, here's the thing about your target market. Your target market, if you choose the right one, will have a lot of ideal clients. In other words, it'll be a target rich environment. So if you think about it this way, your target market is a giant dartboard, right? It's a dartboard. That's what it is. And your target rich environment, if you're really good, is going to be the bullseye. And when you throw a dart, every dart you throw, let's say is worth $100. You want to be smart. You want to be skilled, number one, about throwing that dart. And number two, you want to make that bullseye as big as you possibly can. The more ideal clients that you have, the bigger the bullseye is. The bigger the bullseye is, the more rich that environment is. So we call that a target rich environment. When you can go to an environment and it's filled with your ideal clients, that is a target rich environment. So think of your target market as more of a location and not a person. Think of your target rich environment is when you have a lot of ideal clients. And the ideal client, by the way, is the person who wants what you have, can pay for what you have, will buy what you have, and is in the mindset to do so. It's all four. So you really want to have all of that. Okay, so now that we understand target market, target rich environment, and ideal client, we have all three. Then what we really want to understand is, so Dawnna, how do I do a competitive analysis? People who are competing with me, which means they're basically doing the same thing as I am. How do I do a competitive analysis so that I am differentiating and dominating? Because that's what this was all about. Okay, this is where you now sit down and take some notes, because here it goes. First thing you're going to do is you're going to go and identify, we actually do this thing, it's called a target market definition worksheet. So the first thing you're going to do is identify who are those people that even if you are not where they are today, but you do a competitive analysis, you go and say, well, damn, they're kind of doing the same stuff I'm doing. So I'll tell you about mine specifically. So the one that I did specifically was I looked at Daymond John, Gary Vaynerchuk, and Grant Cardone. Because even if y'all don't know where I am, I do. So I went and did them, right? Because they're all competitors of mine. Grant Cardone does a lot more in real estate and sales. Daymond John, we're very similar, as he came from like this rags to riches story and then became very successful and famous. I'm not interested in the famous part. And then Gary Vaynerchuk, like a lot of people don't know, he kind of started out with a silver spoon because his parents made millions in the wine industry. But he took his knowledge and created and did more marketing. Okay. So those are the three. Okay. All right. So let's talk about Grant Cardone. So a lot of people go, well, Dawnna, how the hell are you going to compete against Grant Cardone? Well, first, I'm cuter than him. But besides that, Grant Cardone does a whole lot of stuff in sales, right? And he has this very specific way of going at sales. It's almost with a bit of a growl. People will actually tell you he's more motivational, and then he has some sales stuff that he throws in there. And that's all well and good. But you know what Grant Cardone does not have? A methodology. That's what he's missing. He doesn't have a methodology. He has books and stuff that he's written, and he talks about 10X, and he gives you tactics, but he does not have a methodology. This is important to know. So, of course, I look at that and go, yeah, this is all the stuff he does. This is the stuff he doesn't do. Boom, doesn't have a methodology. What is the number one thing I have? A methodology. The other thing that Grant Cardone and Gary Vaynerchuk do is that they do big conferences. They're like, come 1,000 people to my big, giant, ridiculous conference. I only do big conferences when someone invites me to come speak at their conference. And here's the problem that I have with big conferences. Big conferences make it very difficult for me to have the type of impact that I want to have to change the world. See, I don't want to just fill people with content, and I call it eating from a bag of marshmallows. They're just like chugging up on marshmallows. What I really want is that I'm going to give you some content, and because I'm such a strong universalist, I want you to take action on that content. And once you take action on that content, I want you to move forward. So I'm constantly pushing people like, come learn this and do something with it. Don't come here and waste my time and just learn something, do something with it. Well, they do these really, really, really big conferences, and they get thousands of people in the audience. And then what they really do is they try to sell you shit at the back of the room where you're spending tens of thousands of dollars in hopes that maybe one day you and Grant can go out to lunch together, or you and Gary can go out to lunch together. That is not my model. So of course I looked at that model and said, don't get me wrong, I speak at big conferences as a speaker, but for my biz on fire business, and don't get me wrong, let me be clear when I say I speak at big conferences as a speaker, I crush the mofo stage as a speaker at a big conference, okay? I can really bring it. However, for my biz on fire business, I wanted to have a different type of impact. So I do more smaller, intimate things. So instead of just doing the big conference thing, I do something smaller and intimate. And specifically, I only allow 10 to 12 people to show up to a multi-million-dollar mansion. And we start working with them several weeks ahead of time before the retreat. We refine at the retreat, and then we work with them after the retreat. So here it is. You get this full, cycle of information because we are dedicated to making sure you're successful. That's not just feeding you marshmallows from the stage. That's ensuring that you have the tools that you need to make it to the next level. That was my differentiator between Gary Vaynerchuk and Grant Cardone. What are the things that we had in common? We both have salty mouths. Like, I say what the hell I want to say, and so do they. We bring it in a very real way. So that's the thing that we had in that was similar, but what do we have different? The other thing is they're guys. And I know this is going to sound very sexist when I say it. I get more guys who've gone and they've listened to Grant Cardone and Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary Vaynerchuk drops the F-bomb every other word he does. And I've gotten those same guys who have quoted Gary Vaynerchuk come back to me and go, you really need to watch your mouth. You know, the one reason that I stopped hanging out with you or talking to you or even watching your stuff is because at the end of the day, you're always just, motherfucker, please. Really? You just quoted Gary Vaynerchuk and now you're mad at me for dropping an F-bomb? Get off me. Seriously, like get off a bra strap, keep it rolling. So the one thing you want to do is you start looking at those people, right? So you look at what do you guys have in common and what do you have different? What do you have in common? What do you have different? The things that you have different, those are your opportunities. Really look at them. So my last guy was Damon John. All right, so Damon John, rags to riches story. Boom, that's what we have in common. Damon John, huge Shark Tank famous guy. I don't really want to be famous. I don't. Okay, so then we go to number 3. Our number 3 thing is that Damon John does conferences. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but this is what he does. He actually lends his name to people coming out to his workshops, and he talks about entrepreneurship. The problem is that what people don't know is he doesn't actually show up. People are coming because of his name. They're spending money because of his name. It's one of those things where you show up to something for free and then they upsell you to the next thing and then they upsell you to the next thing and then they upsell you to the next thing. And then what happens beyond that is that they've sold you into all those things. You never actually meet Damon John. It's just his name that he's lent to it. I never want to be that person. I want to be the person, the face, the mouth, everything that you hear that stands behind the product. I've used it. I'm a journeyman. I've walked through it. I can say, hey, don't go that way. There's a pothole there and there's snakes over there. Go this way. Right? Like I can help people in that way. So I want to make sure that people are very well aware that I'm not telling them to do something that I haven't done. I'm not saying, hey, go try these Cheerios and I haven't even tasted them. Like I've been there, right? So I'm more of a journeyman speaker. Whereas Damon John, he puts his name, but here's the other thing. He doesn't have a methodology, right? He doesn't have a methodology. So by virtue of the fact that he doesn't have a methodology, he knows how to do his thing, but he doesn't have a strategy or methodology that he can write down and send to others. So what does that mean? Why do I keep bringing up methodology? Because here's the thing. It's one thing to say that, listen, I sold a $250 million business and retired by the time I was 39. And I used to live in my car when I was 19. Some people are sitting there going, oh, wow, that's pretty impressive. Okay, great. Then it's another thing to say, hey, you know what? I lived in my car when I was 19. By the time I was 39, I sold a $250 million business that I found. And by the way, I have a method to helping people become millionaires. Now you're like, okay, well, hold up. Now she got a little method. Maybe we could talk. Here's the number 3 that really works. And this is how you want to nail it down. If I said, I was homeless when I was 19 and I created a methodology when I was 26, and that methodology helped me build not just one business, but several businesses. By the time I was 39, I retired by selling my business for $250 million. Now I spend my time teaching that exact methodology to other people so they can do it too. And thus far, we have 151 millionaires that have come out of the business. Here's the cool thing. We're on Millionaire Watch for T, who should be coming up, tomorrow should be coming up between March and September, hitting her million. Now you're probably going, well, wait a minute. So you do this for other people too? And like you calling out people names? And you give me websites and I could call them and they could tell me? Now it's a different story. So that's why having a methodology is so important. You want to be able to say, no, not only did I do it, I have a method for you to do it too. So methodologies are critical. So when you're doing a competitive analysis, you sit there and look at it and go, hey, who are they? Who have they worked with? What do they do? What do I do that's different from, or here, what don't they do? And what do I do that's in their don't do column? Because whatever you do that's in their don't do column, that is where you differentiate. That is where you look and go, oh, they don't have a methodology, I got one. Oh, they don't do small events and intimate events without raping people for every dollar they have. Well, you know what? I do small events for people so it can be more intimate. Oh, you know what they don't do? They don't make sure that they're there and help lead you along the way and give you a family environment to work with. Oh, you know what? I do that, right? And so finding those differentiators between what you do and what your target audience does makes all the difference in the world in how you differentiate. So I'm going to use a completely different example, not me, because you guys have already heard me. So here's another example. My friend Jeff Ram specifically speaks on customer service. Now, you've heard me talk about him before. He's someone that I coached 5 years ago, and he recently spoke on the main stage at NSA, and his business is doing amazing. He travels all over the world now. And before, he was almost about to quit. And there's videos on my website, like you can go see Jeff talking about how, changed it around, blah, blah, blah. Okay, here's what he does from a methodology standpoint. Rather than saying, you need to have better customer service, what he says is this: you have the ability to have better customer service and it's right under your nose. Let me show you. And then he asks people, how would you serve someone who walked in that was really famous? How would you serve, for example, Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, and George Clooney all walked in? How would you serve them differently from how you served me? And so he differentiated by creating this whole concept, this whole methodology of celebrity service. So it's not just more customer service. It's not just better customer service. It's a different way of thinking about customer service. Here's the thing that's important for you to know. Your methodology is your differentiator. And while everyone can get a little bit better, if you want to dominate the market, you have to be different. So go look at what your competitors aren't doing and then do that, because they're not doing it for a reason. They might not be doing it because they can't, because they don't want to. Doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, go and take a close look at why your competitors are not doing some of the things that they're doing that you're able to do, and then do that. Listen, if you really want to learn how to dominate, like freaking dominate the market, go to highprofitzone.com. We only allow 12 people to come to our $1 Million Mansion retreats, and they are freaking epic. The next one comes up May 1st, where we open the doors, May 6th, where we close the doors, and classes start May 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So yeah, you're allowed to come and hang out and just do stuff. Anyway, come and check out the $1 Million Mansion retreat. If you want to come to the retreat, however, I will tell you this. Number one, the only way you can get in is if you know me. So if you're watching this and you're like, well, I don't know her very well, I would suggest you start, right? Pick up the phone, call me, let me vet where you are in your business. It doesn't matter where you are. I just need to know that I can actually help you. That's number one. And then number two, the only other way you can get in is that you know someone who knows me. So you know someone who's gone to the retreat, you know someone who knows me well, and they'll give you a reference. And then still, you gotta talk to me, because I'm not sleeping with 10 people, 12 people at my retreat that I don't know. So we do these 4 times a year. The next one is coming out up in May. We just put the dates up yesterday. We only have, well, I'm lying. The next one actually comes up in January, but you can't get in because that one's already sold out. That one's been sold out, been sold out. The next one after that comes up in May. The next one after that comes up in August. If you're interested, it is only $1,000 deposit. So if you're interested, you have to let me know as soon as possible, because we already have 3 people on the books. Anyway, that's all I got. Thank you, my baby Rudy LaRose. And let me go ahead and say what's up to some people, because I saw you guys come in, but my videographer is hating me because I always say hi. So I've been trying to do the little incognito wave, hey, how you doing? Anyway, so what's up, Mr. Bentley, Mr. Rose? What's up, Emilio? So you experienced that with Damon John in Canada? Yeah, I bet you did. Because that's how he does. What's up, Lindy? Brian, it's so good to see you. You know what? I don't have my glasses on, so I'm really working this. What's up, Mr. Harris? Hey, Harry. So y'all are laughing at me like she can't see for shit. No, wait. Hold on. Look. What? I can see now. Hey, Rudy, David. How are you guys doing? What's up, Lindy? I love Lindy. MC, DC, how are you guys doing? Anyway, I got to run because I actually have an appointment at 3 o'clock and it's about 15 minutes away. So I got to get my ass out of here, or my hairdresser is going to be like, we don't do late. We don't do late. We don't do late, so you're not getting your hair done. And then it's gonna look like this for a long time. That's not good. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, if you need any help, listen, people know me. They know that I have no problem taking your questions. Private message me. Let me know what your question is. I try to do my best to help. If you're interested in learning more, and you can't come to the retreat, we actually have an online training program. So if you're interested in doing the online learning, you can. And then portions of your online learning actually go to the high profit zone. And the online training program is an 8-week training program that is combined with one-on-one sessions as well. So if you're really interested in saying, Dawnna, I got to get my business to the next level. 2019 is my year. It's already the 4th. Don't be rolling up to me in May talking about, oh, I really want to do it, but don't want to hear it. highprofitzone.com. I'm Dawnna St. Louis. I love you guys, and I will see you in a couple of days. Have a great one.